thanks for joining the NGI Search Open Call 4th webinar. We've had 3 before, by the number of 4, I would say. And I hope you get a good overview of what we're trying to look for in terms of projects for the NGI Search project. Oh, that doesn't work, that works. So we'll have a short welcome from the people here, and then we'll talk about the scope of the 4th open call, the topics, what you can get out of it. We have something called 10 added value services, and then Nina will wrap us up with some rules for the 4th open call and how to apply, and Q&A at the end. So I called you out. Thomas, do you want to say 2 words so that people know who you are?
Yes, sure. Hello, I'm Thomas Wilczek. I'm here with my team member, Nina, who will introduce herself in a moment, I think. We are from Funding Box, and we are part of the NGI Search consortium, and our role is mainly that of open call management, precisely, and cascade funding during the programs, and and outreach communication shared with other consortium partners. Good to have you.
Yeah. So we have Nina on the call as well. You will talk later about the open call. Kasia, who's helping Thomas, and also Jorge, who's responsible for more the outreach side of things. Also on the call, we have Valentina. Hi, Valentina.
Hello, everyone. Well, I'm Valentina from the University of Murcia. It is one of the partners of the NGI Search consortium. And me and Aurora is entering the call soon because she had the wrong link. I think that's why we have a few participants. We received the mail with the wrong email. Well, by the way, so we manage the mentoring in particular. So maybe if you get funded, maybe you can be working with me soon, or one of the other mentors. And we also, of course, manage some of the added value services, and that's it.
Okay. And we also have Pierre-Yves.
Hello, I'm Pierre-Yves Gibello from OW2. OW2 is an association focused on open source advocacy, and we are an open source foundation, so we host projects, we animate a community, and our community is composed of companies, but also academics and public sector bodies. So we are a very open organization. We also have individuals. Individuals don't pay anything to join OW2, it's free. And you can also participate in the governance. So we are a quite open organization, and involved in NGI Search. Particularly, we mentor projects, of course, but we also open our community if it can be useful to you. And we also provide some added value services, including some advice, some help and advice about open source licensing, about open source business models. And we also have some infrastructure tools and practices, methodologies that can be used in the mentoring process, like beta testing, and also some methodology to evaluate professional usability of open source software.
Thank you, Pierre-Yves. We also have Charlie. So it's actually Charlie, Pierre-Yves, Valentina, Aurora, and myself that will do most of the mentoring if you get a project. So you already know us from this call. But Charlie, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Hi, good morning. I am Charlie from Linnovate. We are also partner in the NGI Search consortium. We offer innovation scouting services, and our role here in the project is mainly identify experts on the topics of the different open calls of NGI Search, and then try to engage these experts to finally apply, and at the same time help build a external evaluators team with expertise on these topics to evaluate the different projects that finally apply to the NGI Search. So
Great.
welcome everybody. Yeah.
Thanks. And Aurora, you will talk about the topics in a minute, so you can say hello then. Okay, so let's get into it. So the NGI is a bigger context. So this NGI Search project isn't a single one, but there's a bigger family. And on NGI.eu, you can find the entire set of projects that is around. The number that has been supported now is over 1,000 NGI projects or project participants in this entire initiative, let's say. And this isn't stopping. So NGI Search also has some projects that run in parallel. And there's also a new project that just started, which is called NGI Zero Commons, where you can also get off-house funding. In this context, we've also had a previous project on more architecture-related topics. And maybe you recognize some of the projects that we also supported there, like an example would be the Nix browser or the Bang project, LibreSoc project, or Scion, as well as we also supported WireGuard, for example, as well. So we've have some experience, and we hope we also helped a lot of people already work in this context. And you can also find on our own website, now I've only got the 2 links here for the OpenCall 2 and OpenCall 3 projects, because we actually don't have the audio recordings of the OpenCall 1 projects ready yet, but you can just extrapolate to what the link should be for this OpenCall 1, where you can find a number of our projects. So we have now 32 projects, I think, running. And most of them you can listen to what they're about and what they do on our website. So you can find that under the link, which is called, no, I can't now do anything here. I don't know why. But under Open Calls, you can find this information from the NGI Search website. And maybe if somebody from the project could copy these URLs into the chat, that would be great. So you can find out what kind of projects we're looking for. And I think the summary or the very short version of what we're looking for is we're looking for digital commons projects. So this should be, as a bare minimum, it should be an open source project. But we prefer that these are actually linked somehow into the community. So they either are a useful service or tool or method for the community, or that there's already a community around the project that is contributing to it and using it in one way or another. So if we turn it around and say that if you could get, funding somewhere else, like for instance from the European Innovation Council, or you could get funding from a research council, a national one, or the European Research Council, or you can put this project into a larger EC project, and you've done this previously. That's maybe not necessarily what kind of project we're looking for. But having said that, we have, of course, also projects that are linked to universities and university research groups. But right now we're looking really for the community-based development of open source software. So developers that are linked in the open source communities, maybe around a specific topic, around search and discovery, or tools around search and discovery. And Aurora will go through those topics in more specifics. The other thing that we're looking for is we're actually collaborating with another project, which Aurora will also mention as we go through the calls quite frequently, which is called Open Web Search. .eu, and if somebody could again copy the link into the chat, that would be great. The project works with actually developing an open web index, and they're now mature enough that this open web index can be used, and we're trying to encourage also projects to look into that direction and leverage the results from that project in their own project. So you could imagine that the Open Web Index could support, for instance, a lot of data initiatives for, using it for large language models or building applications and services around it. but we'll get there in a short while. So a little bit more about the project that this is in the context with. It's a European project funded by the European Commission under this program called NGI. And we have a total budget of 8.5 million euros, of which 6.8 million go for these open calls. And we are through the first three, and we're roughly around linear in terms of how we're spending our funding. So we have about 2/5 roughly left of the funding, and we are looking for around about 10, maybe 12 projects in the range of 50 to 150,000 euros per open call project. The call closes end of this month, and this is our second to last call, so we have not that much left. But in principle, the project doesn't do much in terms of activities. We have, only a small amount of money of the budget goes to the project itself, ourselves, where we, in principle, looking for candidates that are interesting for the program to apply. We manage these open calls, so 5 of them, where we're trying to attract different types of people and organizations to apply. We then offer them a 12-month custom program. So we're not trying to make you jump through hoops or do extra activities, but we do try and encourage you to engage with other NGI projects, engage in the wider community, communicate also your results in a meaningful way, and link up to projects that are similar to each other. So we have round about every second month, we have a stand-up meeting where we talk about things, and then we encourage you also to come to some events. But we not have specific mandatory things that we need you to do in terms of events or activities, except for instance, for full year program, where there's some sort of formalities around it that are there. But we offer 10 added value services, and they were already mentioned a little bit in the call, which ranges from help with licensing, help with sustainability and business models, help with understanding market, help with understanding how to present your project and communicate your project, and also itself with the communication and so on. So we'll get through those in a little while, what there's on offer as well. You will enter into this NGI community context. So there's our sister project, which is called Open Web Search. But then there's also other projects like an outreach office that helps with communication, a coordination office project that helps you have additional services as well, called NGI Zero Reach, I think it's called. Yes. Where you can also get additional services, even expensive services such as, for instance, pen testing. So there's a lot of really interesting things that are there, and you become automatically eligible to those services when you also become part of this NGI community. The final part is we also would like to synergize with national, regional, international initiatives, and bring the NGI idea also to other governments and other regional activities, because we feel that's actually a very good program that is very agile and actually targets the right type of organizations. Some of us just recently been to FOSDEM, where there were also quite a lot of these types of projects presented, which is very encouraging, I feel. So that leads us then to the open call 4 topics, and I would like to hand over to Aurora to briefly run us through the menu that is on offer, which is quite broad, I think, but yeah, it's a good menu.
Thank you, Mirko. So as Mirko said, for this open call, we have 10 topics. They are quite extensive. So let's get into it directly one by one. I have a slide for each of them. So please, can you just go to the next slide? The first topic is search and discovery features for existing digital common projects. Digital common projects leverage digital technologies for shared community spaces, and those spaces can be enhanced by search and discovery features. Advanced search features such as multimodal and geolocation-based search or decentralized social networks could enhance the utility of such projects. So some examples for this topic of tools and things we are looking for are algorithms that are capable of selecting the best modalities to return the results of a query that are tailored to particular user needs, so that we make the whole experience more immersive and create a user-friendly atmosphere. Those particular needs could include the location, so dynamic geofencing or real-time adjustments. Regarding privacy are other features that could be added. We would also like to see new features for content search across decentralized social media platforms that are not owned by a company. And then as for our sister project, Open Web Search, they can support either in this topic, either in integrating digital commons into the Open Web Index, or in providing index data to link other web data to digital commons. Next, please. The second topic is revolutionizing internet dynamics, AI network synergies, digital twins, and metaverse innovation. Artificial intelligence is shaping how we are using the internet, how we're interacting with the internet through IoT, agents, bots. So this is somehow anticipating the rise of the metaverse and the digital twins. For this topic, we focus on the virtualization of network components by means of AI network collaborations to enhance their adaptability, scalability, and efficiency. So we look for digital twin applications and metaverse concepts that support innovative information search and discovery tools. And those must be aligned with AI advancements, so we can explore this innovative landscape. Next, please. The third topic is natural language processing. We are repeating this topic from previous calls. The majority of search engines use historical data for predicting the search output without taking into account the user intention. Also, NLP models are becoming more complex. They are demanding more resources to function. So the challenge consists of developing simpler and more sustainable NLP algorithm and practices regarding like edge devices or IoT devices, so that it doesn't depend on the cloud. Further, it's the NLP for privacy concerns. Also making NLP models able to interpret social media data, to use demographics, language, and social interactions as variables, so that they can extract information from those social media platforms and data when realizing a query. And our sister project, Open Web Search, can provide participants with relevant, clean, or raw web content for developing their NLP project, since NLP is so important for web search engines. Next topic, please. We have semantic analysis. The integration of semantic data creates a representation of concepts and their relations in the form of ontologies. Those ontologies help to integrate heterogeneous data. The information about a subject or a topic may be spread across different data sources. So we have the need to find uniform methods that help access the information and integrate such knowledge. Some of the challenges in the field consist of searching dynamic relations between concepts using fresh data to optimize queries, therefore minimize execution, maximize completeness of the answer, and also further the query processing techniques that integrate data from distributed and heterogeneous sources in a uniform way. Any kind of proposal in this direction is appreciated, and Open Web Search can provide participants with the relevant content as well as full text indices, as well as metadata for integrating search capabilities in knowledge graph solutions. Next, please. Enabling new ways of discovering and accessing information is our general topic. So we want to make sure that nothing interested related to search and discovery is left behind. Therefore, we can receive algorithms, methodologies, and platforms to discover and access information by combining different technologies Explainable AI could be also introduced in this topic. In general, is to leverage technologies and data to access information in different ways. Next slide. The sixth topic is a search engine evaluation and ethics in search and discovery. So the way that search and discovery is the revolution of search and discovery has to be coupled with AI advancements, but this requires that we carefully consider anthropological and social implications of the progress in order to ensure that the algorithms do not compromise human fundamental rights such as privacy and freedom of choice. We need to develop ethical frameworks. In this topic, we look for solutions that are aligned with the European Commission report Ethics Guidelines for Trustworthy AI, which provides a clear way to evaluate the responsible development of AI systems, but of course, always tailored to discovery and search. So we look for tangible solutions that include tools to combat misinformation, to promote data literacy, address different cultural differences, and implementing de-biasing mechanisms for a transparent, responsible, and explainable AI development. And Open Web Search can support projects through the easy creation of search engines to analyze bias in search, and they also organize workshops and events on the legal and ethical aspects on web search. So the applicants could participate in those workshops. Next topic, please. We also want to cover retrieval augmented generative models and conversational search. Large language models have transformed the search and discovery experience, that's a fact. They generate human-like content, text in a wide range of contexts. They are still, however, computationally demanding and resource intensive, so their applicability is limited. And they present problems such as hallucination, where they generate information that is not grounded in reality or supported by facts. So for efficiency, we encourage knowledge distillation techniques. And for hallucination, several things could fit in this topic. In particular, we encourage conversational search and retrieval augmented generation that can reduce hallucination by combining content generators with search engine backend, So content generations right now are the interface to search engines. And also from a chatbot viewpoint, search is essentially search is essential after we make a query to the chat, carrying on such a conversation. Hence the name of conversational search. So Open Web Search can support projects by providing search engine technologies over parts of the Open Web Index to build the traditional search engines that can be later on paired up with the mentioned technologies. Next, please. Privacy-preserving technologies in search and discovery. So during the process of searching for information and discovering new content online, personal information and user data needs to be protected. Some examples of technologies that could fit are federated learning, differential privacy, secure multi-party computation, and homomorphic encryption for enhancing privacy. We look for mechanisms that safeguard privacy, prevent cyber attacks, in general, to build trust in search and discovery. And Open Web Search can provide search engine technologies for studying or applying privacy-preserving technologies that could be developed under this topic. Next, please. This is the 9th one, I think. Transfer learning for search and discovery. Transfer learning involves utilizing knowledge gained from one task to improve the performance on a related task. Instead of starting the learning process from scratch, it leverages pre-learned knowledge and it applies it to a new, similar, or related problem than before. Transfer learning can be applied to search and discovery tasks to improve efficiency, performance, and some of the examples that we're looking for could be pre-trained models on larger data sets that can serve as feature extractors, representation learning that can transform the data so that new representation captures semantic meaning and context of the search queries. Fine-tuning of those pre-trained models are also other examples of techniques that we are looking for here. Next, please. And we have content quality assessment towards human-centric content provision. Basically, the information within a query can originate from broadly two categories, either human-generated or machine-generated. We are looking for methodologies that evaluate the quality and the source of the content for such tasks, with a focus on product-related queries. The quality considerations include relevancy, accuracy, completeness, recency, and user satisfaction, with a feedback loop mechanism for continuous improvement. And we would like that the tools emphasize human-centric content so that they are capable to detect and prioritize human-centric information. And open web search can support the integration of the methodologies in the Open Web Index, but also provide data which might help differentiating between the content types, so the data that is labeled correctly. And that's all for the topics. I know it's a lot of information, so luckily this is recorded and you can ask questions on the chat, and then in the future, after reviewing this content, if you have further questions, always do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Aurora. And like you said, it's a menu, and it's wrapped into what is called the work program, which is part of the guide for applicants that you can download from the site that relates to the open call for a lot more detail on the specific topics. But what is important, like I said beforehand, you feel like a digital commons project. You are, open source at your core. Is everything that you provide or develop within this project is open source, and it's not just dumping it into a repository, but also having a plan with it. Does it get used by other members of the community? Does it contribute to an existing project already? Does it try to start something new out of an existing context, for instance? Those are usually the strongest projects. And if you personally feel that maybe you can find the funding from another agency, like a research council or an innovation council, then maybe this is not necessarily the right call for you. But of course, you're welcome to ask the question and also try. So the last part of, before we go into the more specific details of how to apply, is the added value services. And I think if it's okay, I will run through it, but my colleagues on the call are of course welcome to comment on it. So the first one is kind of a standard one. You get that anyways, because you will talk to all of us from a mentor's perspective. We might not be exactly the expert in the area that you're working in, so you probably will not get the deep technical details from all of us, but we try our best to also find through our networks the connections that you require if you have some additional questions. But you get at least sparring and work with technology and other types of mentors. The beta testing is a service that OW2 offers through a project that they previously ran called Reach Out. And it offers an entire beta testing suite for your working software components. The links to standards and foundations. So we have inside the NGI ecosystem quite a few organizations that also participate, like the Free Software Foundation in Europe is quite active, and the Open Forum Europe, as well as the Open Search Foundation, and so on. But we also have links to some more formal standards organizations, like, for instance, IETF or W3C, and so on. So this was the three technical added value services. We have 3 business added value services. We have one service which is called the market readiness level. So OW2 has also developed a methodology to score projects on a market readiness level. So it's similar to the technology readiness level, but focusing on the market aspects of these things, and helping projects to understand how they can create a better sustainability around the project in the particular area that they're in. Funding Box is offering pitch training. So there has been already a webinar that has been recorded on this topic. And there could be also some follow-up or some one-to-one sparring if you're interested in this. And so this is not pitch training that is solely the purpose of commercialization and moving into an investor sort of context. But it is also plainly there to be able to meaningfully and to a broader audience present also your work. And the final part is business modeling and business coaching. That's coming from Aarhus University and other partners as well, where we're looking at how you can create sustainability around your open source project. So this could be looking at various business models like hosted software as a service, or we can look at freemium of the service that you're offering, or we can look at, for instance, donation schemes and other possibilities as well. Finally, we have a set of added value services around innovation. So OW2 has already helped a number of projects making meaningful selections on open source licenses, for example. We have Linknomate, who specializes in actually looking at market landscapes and research for the context of your project, which is available to you as well. And then open science advice from University of Murcia, providing some information in this context. So if you're more of a research organization, that could be useful. And finally, also Jorge is there in particular. He helps us a lot with creating content for the various FSTP projects that we are supporting, creating content and marketing material as well. I think that wraps up the added value services, and I can also see that Pierre-Yves has put some links into the chat, so you can see a little bit more who's there and what they can offer specifically. And you can, of course, always ask some questions. So Nina, I think I'm going to hand over to you, and you tell me when to press next slide.
Okay, sounds good. So I will be explaining you a bit more about the process itself and the instructions on how to apply and how to submit it correctly, the application, and not to submit it like 5 minutes before midnight, for example. Next one. Once again, the benefits of this open call is joining the NGI Search support program with a duration of up to 12 months. We are giving 50K to the natural persons or 150 to the organizations. And there's option to receive the mentoring, the value added services that Mirko just explained to you now. We are calling basically everyone, so individuals or organizations looking to change the way users search and discover on the internet. Within all this, within the European values, of course, of openness and transparency. So both natural persons and organizations are welcome, and we also accept consortia of these two combined. The limit is 3 members per team. We have 4 stages of evaluation process, as usual, which is eligibility check. Then we have minimum quality criteria, external evaluation, and consensus meeting. All these are very simply defined and clarified in Guide for Applicants on the OPCOL website, microsite. I don't know, it's probably pasted in the chat by now already. And finally, in case, if you get selected, you will get the signed sub-grant agreement with Funding Box.
Next one. So regarding the application itself, first thing you need to do is create a Funding Box user account. And when you do this, you can start filling out the application that looks like this. Next one. So the application process is fully online. At this point, there is no paperwork. You can save your application and come back later. So you can even submit it and come back later. If it's before the deadline, you can work on it before the deadline. And the application can be exported as a PDF, but only before the submission. This is on technical side, it's not possible to do it after submission. So before you hit the submit button, make sure to download the PDF in case you need it. And there's also instructions, like a one-pager of instructions on the OpenCall microsite available, where you have literally every single step very nicely explained that you can use to help you out with the application. And yes, important thing here is that you can submit only one proposal per project. And we will evaluate the first proposal that you submitted. So make sure you delete all the ones that you don't want them to be evaluated. So in case you have two in draft, we will evaluate only the first one that you submitted with time. So just delete all the old one. That's it on this side. You can add a contributor to your application. So you can, call your team member to help you out filling it out. Please don't do it, like I said, 5 minutes to deadline. Try to do it a bit before. All the fields are, you have to fill out all the fields that are in the application. Like I said, only the first proposal that got submitted will be evaluated. And yes, you can edit it until the deadline and even after the submission. So you can submit it and still work on it if it's before 1st of March in this open call. In case you need anything from us, we have a dedicated email address, which is NGISearch@fundingbox.com. And we also have like an official open call help desk that is inside the NGI online community on Funding Box platform. The link is over here. Can anyone also paste the link on this one, please? And over there, you can raise all your questions, and we will get back to you really, really fast. We tend to do it in like less than 24 hours. That's our goal. And yeah, if you need anything, these are the channels. I think that's it, right? What the next one says, thank you. I think that's all.
Oh,
I
so
know it's your okay.
There's more important things to consider. So the first one is conflict of interest. It is very important for us that we keep integrity of the NGI community. So if you have any affiliation or connection or in any other sense a conflict of interest, which is described in the guide for applicants, then please don't apply. It makes our life difficult to go through and see that we have some known affiliated persons inside the applicants. We will reject you on the grounds of conflict of interest. The second part, I think that's very important to notice, is that after a general eligibility check, so following the guidelines and the rules of the European Commission and that you are who you are and so on, we go through what is called the minimum quality criteria check. This is also for us a mechanism to not pass on projects which we don't believe are in the spirit of the NGI and following the NGI pointer context. So we try to make it simple, but it always becomes very complicated. And we always see projects that say, oh, we don't do 1A. as indicated here. 1A is a mandatory minimum quality criteria. You have to tick that as that you will be doing this. So you will be an open source project. So please, when you make the application, don't make the mistake that you don't tick that. The second one is you need to pick one of the two Bs, B1 or B2, or fulfill both of them. No problem at all. And we like it. We like all projects that provide real working code or demonstrator, either as a research demonstrator, showcase, or minimum viable product, or something like this. We value working code over everything. So, you know, it doesn't matter. It's meaningless that you slap on an open source license on something where you don't write code software. There could also be, of course, a hardware component to it. There is, of course, also documentation to it. But making something for the community that is in a deployable state is really the core idea here. That's B1. B2 is if you maybe a little bit less confident that you will be, that you maybe you're starting something a little newer and you don't know exactly where you're coming to. Here we look for a minimum quality criteria that you have some pedigree in terms of working in internet web contributions in terms of standards or communities that you're contributing to, and that you have a track record of working in the community. So this is giving you some, you know, providing us with some credentials that you actually are linked into a community or know how to work with it. So, for example, you could be an open source project that develops a service or an application. So, as an example, previously we had an interesting project called Letters, which just made a JMap email client and put it on Google Play. I liked the project. It was a very small, interesting project. Or, you know, that there's a new feature developed for an existing larger community. Like, for instance, Scion is working on an alternative layer 2 mechanism, and there were some new problems solved in the project that were contributed. Really interesting. On the community side of things, maybe you are looking at working with an existing community that is already engaged in many different types of projects, and you can show that you've previously contributed to this, but now want to start an entirely new project. We would also like to see that, so that we get some confidence that you're doing this right. So this is the minimum quality criteria where we have a little bit of control over how we would like to work with the projects. And sometimes we will decline projects at this stage if not the right boxes are ticked, or if the confidence in what you're providing isn't very high. Scope is digital commons, internet web, and the topics that are addressed. We are broader than what we provide. I mean, we have one topic, which is, you know, we take anything that has to do with data discovery, indexing, and search in any form or matter, and that gives us a very broad scope. So we're funding projects that have to do with looking at hardware, how to support search algorithms. We're looking at projects that are looking at finding paths for layer 2, and we're looking at traditional sort of search engines, looking at hallucinations and biases in various contexts and so on. We have a very, very broad scope, but what is important is that that idea of contributing to the digital commons. And the final one that we need to mention is we prefer content over form. We don't, so we offer you that you upload a PDF. We often get a 10-page polished document that has been used in many other proposals. We don't need that. We don't encourage our evaluators to read that document. What we would like the document for is the supporting document. If you have tables and graphics that you can't put into web form, but then you need to refer to those graphics and tables inside the web form and say, in the supporting document, table 1.5 is showing something, or the graphic figure 1. Something is showing the overall architecture of the system that we're trying to build. So please use a document only for things that are then also referenced in the web forms that you're providing. And we prefer, content over form is very important for us, because we have often applicants that maybe have not written a proposal previously and are not professional grant applicant writers. And we would like to not put that much emphasis on the form of these applications. So these were some more important points at the very end that we've learned to address over time to not disappoint people. And I think now we would like to say thank you very much.